Good morning, everyone. Masechet Beitza on Daf Lamed Gimel Omed Beis. We were learning yesterday about a wood. If you're allowed to take the wood and to take down small twig from the wood and to have a toothpick. So he said there's two different prices, and one price says that he's chayv chatos, and one price says Rav Yehuda says. Right, as we learned still on Rabbi Yehuda. So the Gemara comes and says that there's two different. We're missing a few words in the Beitza. That's the way we find for the Beitza. And the Gemara brings now on the same idea of this Kotmoy Mariach Boy. The Gemara brings two different Beitzas, and the two different Beitzas that there's a stira between the two different Beitzas. And the Gemara answers on the same chiluk what we learned yesterday. At the end of the shield, the Gemara brings the same chiluk to come and to mechalik over here. Says the Gemara, Tanechode. That's about 14 lines to the top of the Amid. Tanechode kotmoy umriach boy. Tanya idoch lo iktemenu. So we learned two different prices. One price that says kotmoy umriach boy. The other price it says lo iktemenu lo riach boy. So and why lo iktemenu lo riach boy? As we spoke yesterday, because it's a gzeira. Gzeira shemu iktemenu kedei lachtzitz boy shinov, and that's also lo riach boy is mutar, but lachtzitz boy shinov is also. So there's a steer between the two prices. Omar abzeire, Omar abzeire lo ikashi, or berakin, or bekashin. What we said kotmo yom riach boy in the price is talking about. These atzei besomim, they are soft and they are roile machal beimo. As we said, anything that's oichle beimo, anything that's machal beimo is muter, and is no tikkun kli. Aber hobe kashin and atzei besomim that they are kashin, that they are not roile machal beimo, will be also okay. Talk the Gemara. Maskif lo Rav Ache Bar Yaakov. Bekashin amayloi. Bekashin amayloi. The shaila is azoi. Why cannot do iktemenu to come to break it a little bit? The smell. It's not talking about the way it's mechubel lakarka, right? He has over there atzei, a bit of, as we said, a branch of mint or rosemary, whatever it is, and he wants to come and just to come to break it to have a better smell. Why not? Do we make it, the shine is azoi, do we make a gzeira on someone who does, breaks off something, and he has no kavaneh? He has no kavaneh for the purpose of a kli, right? The problem is, if he does it, lachtzitz boy, so the problem is that he's doing a kli, but he has no kavaneh to do a kli. Because someone who's koitem b'chavaneh, so they come and do a gzeira to another kavaneh, why not? And the Gemara explains, Ma'ishno me'odepnam. We learned in the Mishnah, shoiver odom esachovis, person is talking about Shabbos, you have to know. And if this is talking about the person is allowed to break the barrel with a knife or with a sword, right? With sakin or with saif, as Rashi says. And in order to eat from inside the chavis, there's of there dry dates, goy. Why? Because he's not doing any Isser, he's mekalkel. And by coming and doing it this way, he's mekalkel the chavis because he's breaking it. He's not metaken the chovis. He's not opening up a nice petach noe, and that's going to be called the tikkun. He's mekalkel. That's mutar. Continues thing, the Mishnah over there. Ubilvad shelo iskaven lasis kli. He shouldn't have a kavanah to come and to make a nice petach, because that's if he has a kavanah to make a nice petach, that's going to be a kli, and it's metaken money on Shabbos. What do we learn from over here? And if the person did not have a kavanah making a kli, we do not come and say a gzeire or otu mechaven. As a gzeire, tut manish otu mechaven. So why over here we do say that legabe koshin, we say do not come and break off even the atzi b'somim if they are koshin, because you might come in, but there's also someone who does it that shall be miskaven. And for the ve'oid, so before the Gemara answers another shayla. Ve'oid. We're going to have a shaila lefi, what we just said now, that there's an isur to come and to smell, or to liktoim, in order to smell koshim. Horove barav ade and Ravin bar Rav Ade. The Amot Ravayu de Borzei. Ki Avine be Rav Yude. When we were in the house of Rav Yude, have a mafshalon ve'yoivlon aluse. That means he would come and tear off the branches from the tree. That means the tree was tolush. Yeah, we have to remember it. And he would give us another branch and another branch, in order to smell it. Yeah, the Tosis explains this way. So he's talking about over here, kedei l'oriach boi. And afal gav dechaziyas, continue the Gemara. Afal gav dechaziyas, even though that these branches were ro'ui lekatete the nagre v'chitzne. This was ro'ui to come and to make from them handles of nalge and chitzne to come and to do a base yad, a handle for a nalge. That means a nalge is like an axe. Chitzne is also a type of axe. So you could have come and done from this handles for certain kelim. So what do we see from over here? That we don't make a gzeret to aser ktimas anaf in order to come to smell, because I might come and do a ktime of a kli. Because we see that Rav Yude Lehedia allowed them to do it. And for the Gemara, lo ikashia. Why? Ho Rab Lezer, ho Rabbonon. This is nishma from Rav Yude. Why? What we said that it's also ktime afil ariach. It's talking about, and why? Because we said otu lachtzit v'shinov. Right? So that was the gzeirem. That's called the Rab Lezer. Rab Lezer says in the Brisa, we can see the Gemara brings the Brisa in a minute. The Gemara brings the Brisa that we see in Rab Lezer says in the Brisa that ktime letzorech asiyas kli is a tikkun doiraisa. Oh, what Rav Yude was allowed to come to do ktime is talking about Rabbonon. And Rabbonon disagree in Rab Lezer, and they say in that Brisa, we can see in the second, the Gemara brings the Brisa in the second, but we can see in the Brisa that Rabbonon come and say that this ktime is not called a ktime chashuva, and it's not considered as a tikkun kli midoiraisa, because it's considered only a tikkun kli kile'achar yad. It's only the one. They didn't do a gzeire or k'tim el. Where do we see this brayta? The Tanya. Ablezer roimer. Noitel odom kisom mishelefonov lachtzit boishinov. Right, a person can come and take out of their wood in front of him. He could take over there kisom from this piece of wood for a toothpick. It means that he didn't put it in front of him. The Eivus Shel Beimo is definitely le hasoke, because something that's oil achilas odom or achilas beimo is prepared for anything. So this Eivus Shel Beimo, because it's prepared for achilas beimo, it's prepared for anything. It's going to be mutter. Veshovin, that means Rab Lezer Charoyim maskim shelo yiktemenu. You're not allowed to come and to pick it off for a toothpick, right? Or he takes it in front of him because he's metakin a kli. If he took from the Eiva Shel Beima, it's no isa to be koitem. Why? Because it's oichle beima, and oichle beima, as we said, is no problem. The problem is when it's not oichle beima, then it's ve'im kotmoy, latzitz boy shinov, ve'liftoyach bo'adel. That means he came and he took a small piece. Why? To come into, there's two doors and they're locked, and he wants to put it in between the two doors to open the door. It should be like a small handle. So ve'shoyigeg v'shabes chayev chatos, ve'meizid ve'yomtev soifig esarboim divrei Rab Lezer. That means the Rab Lezer is the oiraisa. And he says shoyigeg. Why he says shoyigeg? Says chayev skile, because shoyigeg says the shitam kubetet is more shchiach. It's more shchiach. So that's what he says over there. Shoyigeg and Shabbos. I and Yomtev he says very amazing. He says because in Yom Tov B'Shogeg there's no korban. That's why he said the din of Mezi. Because that means the Mezi B'Yom Tov. Why he said B'Shogeg B'Shabbos Mezi B'Yom Tov. Or B'Shabbos B'Or. V'chachon אומרים, Echod ze ve'echod ze Sai Shabbos and Sai Yom Tov. It's not also min HaTorah elo mishum shvus. That means it's only the Rabbanon boy because it's a tikkun k'leachar yad. And a tikkun k'leachar yad, it's not called a proper tikkun. And a proper tikkun is to come and to do it with a knife and to be a machek and to do it properly. This is not properly. It's called kilach yad and the Gemara. So the Gemara now explains the teretz. The Gemara explains the teretz. Says the Gemara. Rab Lezer the Komar also. That means according to Rab Lezer. That said over there that word to the rice and his chayiv chatos oche potu Rav also. So here when he's doing kotmo ilo riach boy, it be potu. Why? Gzeira otu ktim melatet v'shinov. That's the rice. Or Rabbonon. The Koamre awesome potur aval also. That means if he's caught more elastic chinov, we said potur aval also. So hoche. That means where hoche? When we said caught more elastic boy, muto lekatchila. It's gonna be muto lekatchila because we don't, right? As we said, ein goizrin gzeira legzeira. And this is exer because the whole thing is exer mishum shus. So also when we talking about over here, the ktimas anaf, right? In order to smell is allowed lefi rabbanon because even if he will come and pick this, make from it, as we said, kitois lefi chachom is going to be potter of loso. That goes lefi Rav Yehuda, the price of Rav Yehuda. So we for the second shaila, yeah, the second shaila what we asked is Weinfeld, because that's going to be Rabbanon. But the first shaila what we asked, what was the first shaila? Let's remind ourselves. The first shaila is from Shoiver Chovis, yeah, from breaking the barrel. That, right, that's going to be Weinfeld Lefi a different shaila. It's the Gemara Frek. And the Gemara Frek now a shaila, and the Gemara is going to find first. Got to find also the first shaila of Shoiver Chovis. Where do we see it? Talk the Gemara. Ve'leslei le Rab Lezer odet nan. Rab Lezer says, Rab Lezer says, and he does a gzeire that what on doing a kli even without the kavone. Why? Otu asiyas kli bechavone. Finding more of a lesson, Rab Lezer odet nan, shoiver odom esachovis lechol meno groigois ubilvad shelo iskaven lasis kli. So you're going back to the first shaila, and in we see that what that we don't do a gzeire. We don't do it. That's very similar to what we asked in the first shaila. Omar Ravashi, Kitanya he says over there, this Braise, Bemusteke. What means Bemusteke? Bemusteke means as this is talking about, as Rashi says, this is a very, very shvache thing. Chovi shvuro shemudboki shvuro b'sar. That means, as we talk about the chovis reu'o, yeah? We have the sukkah reu'o. So this is a very shvache barrel. And the way they came and they stuck the barrel together is with srap shel eitz, the sap of the tree. And this is called mustaka. And because it's not really strong, so we don't do the gzeire, maybe he's going to have a kavone to do from it a kli, because he's going to care about it, that what? Maybe he's going to ruin the barrel. And he's doing the neck of the cholapoches, right? Whatever he can, but not more than what he should do over there. And that's what that's going to be. That's what Rashi understands. Tosfos explains that because that they are stuck together with tar, and it's not the chovis is not one whole piece, it's not called a tikkun kli. So in that case, it's not called a tikkun kli. Yeah. There's a very, very interesting Tosfos. Tosfos over here brings the mice of Rabbi Yehuda. We saw over here mice of Rabbi Yehuda. And Rabbi Yehuda came and told us that when a person, when they were, the Amoraim told us when they were in the house of Rabbi Yehuda, so they would come and smell on Yom Tov, they would come and smell the psalmim, right? The psalmim. So Tosfos brings over here, what about Motzei Yom Tov, right? Sorry, Motzei Shabbos, Shechal BeYom Tov. We smell psalmim, we don't smell psalmim. So we don't make a bracha on the psalmim. So now Avdol and Motzei Shabbos, we make a bracha on the psalmim. Motzei Yom Tov, we don't make a bracha on the psalmim. Motzei Shabbos, Shechal BeYom Tov. That means if it's a Motzei Shabbos and Sunday is a Yom Tov, do we make brachas or not? Do we make a bracha on psalmim or not? Do we have psalmim? So Tosfos over here comes and says that we don't make psalmim. We don't make psalmim over here. Tosfos diba masel ki avina be Rabbi Yehuda. If you go into the Tosfos a little bit, says Tosfos in Toima lo monim lo chachal Yom Tov v'mati Shabbos v'noviach b'psalmim mishum shemo yitem v'lo yichashina k'lemu chachocha ali b'nei Rabbi Yehuda l'sova l'kerabbonon. וגם in שייך לפירוש הטיימים משום איש גיהינום שמתחילים ספרו להסריח וכך מבואו בכל מותי שבס דעלמא. בכל מותי שבס דעלמא, שחל להיות במותי שבס, אז אין האיש מתחיל לצפו להסריח, ולקח ממורכינן, והוא גם ביום טוב. And Tosfos brings over here the whole sugya, if you do or you don't. So Tosfos says over here that we don't make over here thing. But we spoke about this. Tosfos not only over here, we also have over there the Rishonim and Psochim, that Kuf Beis on base. Now Psochim, Kuf Beis on base. And they prove that from over there in Psochim that mitzad Yom Tov shechal b'motzi Shabbos, right? In the seder of there, the sugya, big sugya of Yaknehaz, Yain Kudushnei Avdol Esman, that in the seder of Yaknehaz we don't have any base. We don't have any besomim. So it's mashma that we don't make a bracha on besomim on Motzei Shabbos Shechal B'Yom Tov. So what's the reason? What's the reason? So very interesting. Tosfos, we're just going to mention it's very interesting. Tosfos comes and brings over here a few reasons. So Tosfos over here says maybe the chashash is because liktoim, as we said over here, you have to be koitem the atzei besomim, and then Yom Tov is we just learning the sugya. There's a isur liktoim, right? But Tosfos says this is not true. Why? Because we know we pass like Rabbanon that also when he's miskaven, right? The be choitzes b'shinov is also potur avel also. That means it's only also with the Rabbanon. Mimele when he's not having a kavone, right? When he has a kavone only lo riach, not to be koitem. The gzera as we explained before. So mida Rabbanon is mimuta. So that's not the reason. So Tosfos says maybe that's the reason. So Tosfos not that's the reason. Another reason says Tosfos, the reason that we make a bracha on Tzayim Motzei Shabbos is because eish geinam. Eish geinam matchil lisroi pulasriach. The eish of geinam starts to burn. And all the Rishonim going back to the Geinim, and it starts to smell. The world starts to smell. So you come and you make a bracha on the Besomim to remove the bad smell. Motzi Shabbos Shechal B'Yom Tov. We don't make a bracha on Besomim because also in Yom Tov the Eish Shel Geinim doesn't work, so there's no bad smell. So says Tosfos, this is also not true. Why? Because why don't we make a bracha on Besomim? Motzi Yom Tov. Because in Motzi Yom Tov the Eish Shel Geinim starts to smell again, right? If that is the reason, so Motzei Yom Tov you should start because it's again starts to burn it to be Masriach. Says Tosfos that the reason that we don't make a besomim on Motzei Yom Tov is because the nefesh. What's the reason that we make besomim Motzei Shabbos? Because we learned it beforehand. Nefesh Yisera, right? The Shomer Yisera that we lost vai of the nefesh. So we do a bracha on besomim to be meyashev da'atoi of a person. Now, when it's Chal Motzei Shabbos, he's not losing the Neshama Yisera. Because in Yom Tov there is also a Neshama Yisera. And as if you remember the Rashbam in Psochim Zok Dezel Bezach, but Tosfos Zok Techet nicht azoi. Because if we say that in Yom Tov there is a Neshama Yisera, why don't we make Besomim on Motzei Yom Tov? Because the Nefesh Yisera goes on Motzei Yom Tov. We're losing it on Motzei Yom Tov. And that's why Tosfos brings after three different terutzim. What Tosfos is not happy with, Tosfos brings a teretz that be'emes the reason is that we make a bracha on Besomim because the Neshama Yisera, and in Yom Tov there isn't the Neshama Yisera. So why don't we make a Motzei Shabbos? Even it's Chal B'Yom Tov, why don't we make Motzei Shabbos? When we don't make Motzei Shabbos, Chal B'Yom Tov, we don't make a Besomim is because there is, as Tosfos says, Ma'acholim Chashuvim. Look at the last few words of Tosfos of Ein Diva Masechet Ki'avinen. Tosfos says. כיוון דייש לו מאכולים חשובים וטובים, וישב דעתו ממילא בלוי ריח וסומים. So a person is meyashev da'atoi, he had ma'acholim chashuvim, so that's the yishuv das, and he doesn't need for this besomim. Just, we have to find for the Rashbam. What's the pshat in the Rashbam? Rashbam says, as we said, that what? Because in Yom Tov there is an Neshama Yisera. And that's the reason we don't make on Motzei Yom Tov, and we don't do on Motzei Shabbos Shechal B'Yom Tov. So why don't we do on Motzei Yom Tov? So in Tosfos, there's a goy of Reb Lozer Moshe. Reb Lozer Moshe Horowitz, in Psochim, not over here, in Psochim Daf Kuf Gimel, he makes a big, he comes to the Tosfos and he says a big chiddush. Motzei Shabbos Shechal in Yom Tov, we make a bracha on Besomim. What we don't mention it in Yaknei Az is because it belongs to Havdoleh and not to the Kiddush. And that's why we don't make a bracha on Besomim in the middle, because it's going to be a hefsek in the middle of the Kiddush. So we make a bracha after Kiddush, a separate bracha. Now, the Rambam and the Rashbam in Psochim Daf Kuf Beis, Omed Beis, we said that what? That the reason that we don't make a bracha on Motzei Shabbos, right, Shechal Yom Tov, is because there's still a Neshama Yisera on Yom Tov. And if he's there, what's going to happen with the Shaila of Tosfos Ba'untz? Tosfos Ba'untz fragt the Shaila, why don't we make a bracha on Besomim, Motzei Yom Tov? So there's the Rishonim being already b'shem the Ramban that the Neshama Yisera goes away straight away Motzei Shabbos. Masechet and Motzei Yom Tov it doesn't go away. Doesn't go away. When it goes away, so as the Balei Amusar always say, that it goes away when the person is misalik from himself the Neshama Yisera. In Yom Tov there's an inyan of Vasienu. The Balei Amusar always speak about it. Vasienu, and Emton, a masa from Yom Tov. Depends on the person. When he's misalik the Neshama Yisera. The person has the Neshama Yisera, from Sukkah still, and Shabbos probably will still have. It's not so fine. Okay. Let's this is a very interesting thesis we just mentioned. Okay, let's go back to the Gemara. The two dots in the Gemara over in Daf Lamed Gimel base, and the words of the Mishnah. The words of the Mishnah. What we learned, umegabev min achotzer. So we learned in the Mishnah, umegabev min achotzer. So the Mishnah says umadlik. Why? Because right, anything as we learned in the Mishnah, shekol ma shebechotzer muchon. That says the words of the Mishnah. Says the Gemara. Tonu Rabbanon. Megabe means to collect over there the twigs from the chotzer. Min achotzer umadlik shekol ma shebechotzer muchonu. Adds the Bryce another few words. Ubi levad shelo yaset tziburin tziburin. That means don't do piles. And the Gemara is going to explain the reason straight away. Rab Shimon matir. Rab Shimon is also matir. Even to do tziburin, even to do over there a pile. Explains the Gemara. What's the machlokas? B'may kom miflage. Mal sovar, that means Tanakam of garden. When he does over there tziburin, when he does over there the piles, it looks like this gibu, this collecting, is not only for today, it's also for tomorrow. It's going to be also. Umar, that means Rab Shimon was matir, sovar. No, there's no chashash that someone's going to watch and see and says, he's megabev not only for the day, also for tomorrow. Why? That means because everyone is nikar and everyone can see that he's not doing it for tomorrow. He's doing over there tziburim because he's collecting today a bit of twigs over there because he wants to have hot food, like on the is. Talking more about it, we learned that the Mishnah ain't.
Can we just ask? Would it be possible to add extra wood as well because of a foil? Therefore, he needs more.
Maybe ribu b'shiurim. Yes, maybe the same thing of ribu b'shiurim. Talking more about it, ain't moitzin saur. Right, as we learned over there in the Mishnah, loy mino eitzim and loy mina. We're going back to the Mishnah, yeah. Ain't moitzin saur loy mino eitzim, veloy mina avonim, veloy mina ofo, veloy mina ofo. We said the Bach says nishtazoi. It's not goyres. Veloy mina mayim, vein melabdin. It's ofo. Listed by yeah. Talk the Gemara. My time. What's the reason? Says the Gemara. Why not? Mishum deko moilid. He's doing over there a moilid by Yom Tov. He's doing hoilada and Yom Tov. Now, what's the moilid over here? So we spoke a little bit after the shir yesterday about this Indian of moilid, but I'm just going to let's mention that that when we see the Rambam, Rashi doesn't mean it, but the Rambam comes and says the Rambam in Ilchos Yom Tov Perek Daled Alocha. The Rambam says, what's the reason of the thing? It says because we're not matir in Yom Tov only to make a fire eish metzuya, but lehamtzi eish it's going to be also. Why? Because if shalah soisa miboid yoyim, that means you can do it already from yesterday. Adds over there the Mishnah Boy brings the Rambam. It's not better than any machshirin that you can do it from a Rav Yom Tov. That's awesome. That means the fire itself, creating the fire is only a machshirin. Machshirin, as we know the klal, so you say Rav Yom Tov, you're not allowed to do machshirin yoichel nefesh on Yom Tov. And that's the reason. But the Raavad disagrees on the Rambam. The Raavad is masig, and he says because he's in moilid. There's no achone. And that's the reason that we see before in the Gemara. So you can't, why the Rambam comes with new reasons. So he's the Raavad, he comes and he's asking on the Rambam. Okay. Log the Gemara weiter. We learned in the Mishnah. Ve'ein melabnin es areofin. That means you cannot heat up the reofin, the roofs, because and then the roast on them. Says the Gemara, my kovid. What's the problem? What's the issue? Omar Rabba Barchone, Omar Rabbi Yochanan. It's talking about the way Oche Beroofim Chadoshim Askinen. And Mipnei Daf Lamed Aleph Lamed Aleph Shetzorich LeBoitkon. Ve'amrelei, some say Mipnei Shetzorich LeChasmon. What that means? So Shetzorich LeBoitkon means they need a bdika if they are roi to come and to get this libun, Because could be that these Ra'afim, when they're gonna come and you're gonna heat them up, you're gonna give them a libud, that means you're gonna heat that up very strong. They're gonna platz, they're gonna crack, and this is a tircha shaloi letzorech. And that's the reason what Chacham came and said, no, Ra'afim Chadoshim, it's brand new, you can't do it because you might shaloi letzorech. That's what Rashi says. Rashi says, "Im yuchol lekabel libunon, ilkach beyond loy dilme pake veishtakach betoach shaloi letzorech." ואמר לו שצורך לחסמון, להקשויסון בעסק ראשון עם מחזיקים ומסקשים. אילקח אף אגב לצורך יונטב נמי. דאוצוילין עליהן מיוק, אם בעסק זה נעשה כלי, also. That means that's right. Some say that the reason why often chadoshim, it's also to come and heat them and to roast on them. Yontu, you're allowed to do ichal nefesh. Because it's talking about the first time when you're taking these ofim and you are heating them up, what happens over here? You're doing a tikkun mole. A tikkun mole, it's a makar patish, because it's strengthened them, and you do over there a kli, and that's also on Yom Tov. Brings the Gemara now, the Mishnah and Chulin, Daf Nun Vav Amud Aleph, legabi dikas treifa. And the Gemara brings first the Mishnah of how to check a treifa, and then we can see that it's similar to our Indian, what we're speaking about over here. Na nosen. Steht over there in Perek Elu Treifas. Dorso, oishe torfo bakoisel. Oishe ritzeso beima umefarkeses. Veshaso meis reis. Veshochto sheiro. What that means is a person came, and dorso, what means dorso? Dorso means over there that a person came and he took the off, and he dorso. The person came, he stepped on it. Or the person went and he threw this chicken, on the wall. Or the be'ema done it to the oif. Sherotes or be'ema to the off. And now the off was, this chicken was mefarkeses, and it cannot come and stand. And these three cases, what's the chashash? The chashash, as Rashi explains in Chulin over there, the chashash is what's called risuk eivorim. Risuk eivorim means that it might happen that all of the limbs inside were cracked. Right? They're all geschmettert inside. But what happened after this three mices, what happened over there, is still living mace lace. Mace lace means 24 hours, a whole day. So that is a siman that was no risukei vorim here, and nishach the doif, it's going to be kosher. That was the Mishnah. And on that Mishnah said Rab Lozo ben Yanai. Let's see. Omar Rab Lozo bar Yanai. Mishum Rab Lozo ben Antignois. Even though it was mace lace, it's not enough to kasher it. Just what? Tzricho b'dike. That means after you shecht it, you still need a b'dike. Why? Because maybe it still broke most of the limb. Maybe it still broke over there the ribs. Or maybe it broke over there the spine. Or maybe all kinds of treifas, what could happen from this maise, or the behemoth, or the person done with this chicken. And that's what you still need. You could shecht it, but you're going to need, afterwards, you're going to need a dike of case, and you don't rely on the chazaka, but in every off, you rely on the chazaka, that what? That roy behemoth check, and you don't have to come to check all of the treifas. Boy mine rabir mi emer abzei. This type of chicken that a person stepped on, a person threw it against the wall, what's going to be the din? And Yom Tov the kam shech tazah be'emen. What's it to do that suffering? The Gemara explains. Mi machzekin en reuse be'Yom Tov. Do we say that there's a reuse over here? What's a reuse? There's a reuse in this of the chashash. Maybe it's a treifa. So maybe mi machzekin en reuse be'Yom Tov. That means because the chumre of the chomer of Yom Tov. Do we say because it needs to have a bdike, and it's now there's a reuse in it, so we have a chashash, maybe it's treifa. Kumto is that he's doing a melach in Yom Tov, shaloi letzorech, chal nefesh. And now we can see what we just said now by Re'ofim. We said about these tiles, what we said about these tiles, that if it's brand new tiles, you cannot use it on Yom Tov to heat it up, right? Why? No problem with Vashel in Yom Tov. It's not what the nefesh, no problem. The problem is because, right, if you the Defeat the first dance of the Gemara, not Mechasim. So it's because he's gonna heat it up. And what's gonna happen? It's gonna crack. Because he doesn't know if these tiles are actually good tiles or not. It's the first time he's using them. Could be it's gonna crack if he heats it up too hot. And then what's the problem? As we saw in Rashi, the whole problem is that if the person takes this chicken and he has to do a b'dika, maybe there's a big chashash, right? That what? That there's risukei vorim over here. So you need to do a b'dika later on. Maybe you're gonna check off. You're gonna do the b'dika after you checked off, and what happened? It's still good. And you are tereach and yom tev sheloi letzorech ochel nefesh. Oi, that's one side, yeah? Let's continue the Gemara. Oi loy. What is oi loy? No, you're not machzik. You're allowed to shecht it. What's going to be the din? Omar lei, tanina. We learned over there, mefurish, your problem is solved. Where do we see it? In our Mishnah. What we learned in our Mishnah? We learned in our Mishnah, in the lab, in the Sarah Ofim, Litzlois Boen, Ravinam. Right? And we asked over there, a Shaila, the Gemara brings what we asked before in the Shaila, what's the din? My COVID, right? We're just repeating, my COVID. And the Omar Rabbi Bar Chone Omar Rabbi Chonon, or Rabbi Rafi Chadoshi Maskina, they should circle a botcon. What's botcon? As we just said, you have to come and check if it can be mekabel the glibun. It can't be mekabel the glibun. And if it's not mekabel the glibun, that he was toireach, shaloi letzorech. So what do we see from over here? Machzikin and reyuse. Right? By the tiles, by the Rafi, you're machzik the reuse, because maybe they're not royal libun and mishum choyma yontav. You say it's going to be also, so the same thing should be also by the reuse of machzikin and like maybe nitra foif. Omar lei anan mipnei shetzorich lechasel masnei leus. Rab Zeir tells Rabbi Yirmiyah, no, I don't need the Raya from our Mishnah, because I say that the reason over there why the Ofim Chadoshim is going to be a problem is because lechasmon, that means he's doing over here tikun kli. It's not because the chashash of tircha shaloi letzorech of kiyeh of shaloi letzorech tircha shaloi letzorech choichel nefesh. This is the different reason. Says the Gemara Tanya. We learned in the Beitza. Now this Beitza is talking about cooking on Shabbos. Now the din is azoy. If the Beitza was talking about the way is azoy, a few people decided they're going to cook together on Shabbos. Decided, and each one has to share, right? Each one brings his chelik. Talk the Beitza. Tanya. Echod maybe so one brings the fire. That means he brings over there the gacheles, right? And by coming in, how could it bring a fire? Rashi explains that he's bringing over there gacheles, and when he's walking with this gacheles, with the charcoal, so there's a wind because he's walking, so there's a wind. So it's actually lighting the charcoal better, and that's the meloche. Ve'echod maybe it's eitzim, coming to put it above this gacheles, the burning gacheles, and that's avore. Ve'echod shoifes is agdeira, and one puts over there the empty pot, the empty pot on above the fire, and we can see later on what's the problem putting an empty pot on the fire. Ve'echod maybe it's amayim, and he puts it inside the pot, inside the gdeira that's over the fire, and they are cooking. Right? So he's putting inside the spices and he's cooking it. He's cooking the spices, yeah. He's mixing with the spoon, the tafshil. That means the person that bought the fire, and the eitzim, because he's mavir. And the person that put down over there the pot, we can see Bal the Gemara Frekt, and the Gemara is going to explain why he's chayav. But the people that bought the water and the spice and the megis, they're all going to be chayev because me vashal. So the first two, the one that bought the ur and the one that put on the 18, are going to be chayev because avore, right? It's avore. It's actually lit the fire, and the other ones are going to be chayev mishum vashal. Like the Gemara, we learned in a different price. Achroin chayev vekulon peturin. We learned that only the last one is bottle. Says the Gemara lo yikashye ho de aise ur meikore. Or the Aisa, let's talk about the first Braise, what we are mechayev everyone is talking about the Aisa Umeikora. That means the fire was bought from the beginning, and afterwards was done all of like the Seder, what we learned in the Braise, was the Seder. First the then the Eitzim, But the second Beitza, is talking about that only the last one is chayiv. It's talking about the Aiseur lebasoiv. That means that only the person that brings the gacheles only is going to be over because the person what they put over there a kdeira, they filled it up with water, but in a tavli it was megis, there was nothing because there's no fire there. And then a person came and put the fire. Everyone's going to be potter. Only the last one's going to be chayiv. Now the Gemara comes and speaks about the Beitza. What we learned in the Beitza? Person, the first Beitza. Person brings the gacheles. The second person puts on the gacheles, the burning gacheles, more wood. It's going to be chayiv. Then a person puts a pot, an empty pot. Why should it be chayiv? Why should it be chayiv? Explains the Gemara. Zog the Gemara. Bi shloime kulu, right? All the ones that were mentioned in the Beitza. Kohav de Maisa, they do a meloche. Elo shoypes es agedeiro, my kohavi. What's the issue of coming putting an empty pot on the fire? What's the problem? Omar Rab Shimon ben Lakish, oche begdeiro chadosh askinen. Of this talking about a brand new pot, what you're putting over there on top of the fire. And when you put over there the pot of fire, what happens? It gets stronger. The tikkun kli. And the same thing like we found, Mishum libun re'ofim nogubo. The same thing like we said over here in the Mishnah, we said ve'ei melabnis re'ofim. And the same thing like the reason of the ve'ei melabnis re'ofim, the same reason you cannot put an empty pot, a brand new pot, on the fire. The same thing. So we see from there that was the thing. Now, Shitas Rashi is over here that there's no isel by a tikkun gdeira only by putting an empty pot on the fire. But if there is a tavshil, inside the pot, then there's no isel. Then there's no isel. That means he takes a gdeira, he takes a pot, and it's filled with a tavshil, and he's putting now a brand new pot, a brand new pot, and he's taking out the pot and he's putting it on gabi eish. It should be over also over here on mevashel, but also on makeba patish. Huh? Why not? Oh, so I say Rashi over here, and also Toises. Rashi and Toises over here both say that there's not going to be, there is no, it's not mechasmon. Mechasmon, as we said before, is only when it's empty. But the Shitam Kubetzes over here brings, and it's enough Gemini, so that's why we're going to bring it down. The Shitam Kubetzes brings over here, B'Shem Toises, that even there is a tavshil inside, there's an issue to come and the shoypsa to put down the kli, because it's a tikkun gdeiron. And he says, if that's the reason, you have to be careful of Pesach. With Pesach, people buy new kelim. To cook before Pesach comes in, before Yom Tov. If you have in Pesach, you have Erev Pesach. Again, we don't pass them, but if you say so, so Pesach, people buy new kelim. Dafka for Pesach. And if you're cooking on Yom Tov, you're allowed to cook on Yom Tov, right? He's cooking Yom Tov Pesach, using a brand new kli. You put it on the fire. And if you didn't even when it's full, you still there's a issue of lechasman of.
It's not on cheres, only kli cheres or certain metals. Not today.
Okay.
Not today,
Really hardened, aren't they?
Not today. It's all type of metal and all type of cheres, Mr.
I think it's annealing, isn't it?
Is that?
Annealing. You anneal metal by heating it and then cooling it quickly.
It's going to be
So that's
it's a makeba patish.
No,
Makeba patish.
yeah, that's right.
Okay, I'm already hard.
Not to today's Kenny. It's not talking about cheres here, Gemara. Cheres.
No, cheres, you have to fire it. Doesn't do anything afterwards.
That like Rafim. Like Rafim, you put it on a fire. Rafim is also cheres. It's the same Rafim, the same. The mechasmon is only becheres. Or the old type of soft metals, not. Other the halacha is saying today.
That seems to be the halacha. It's dafka by metal.
Dafka metal. Metal, you say that by the Ashoshios, we learned the Gemara in human. Okay. Yeah, but today, Pashas, you're right. Today is not. The Shittum Kubeta says that this is going to be by Legabe, he speaks about the Erev Pesach. Okay. Zog the Gemara weiter. So we see over there that what? That the reason why it's also because lechasmon. Okay, says the Gemara. Tonu Rabbanon, middle of medallet. Tanur vekiraim chadoshim. And over chadoshim doesn't mean dafke chadoshim. Even chadoshim, kolsken yeshonim, as we can see by. Harei hein kechol hakelim anitoli b'chotzer. That means they are not muktzeh, even though a tanur vekiraim is it's a kli shebenachto leisur. You're allowed to carry it on Shabbos like any other kli in the chotzer, because you can come and use it for stamp putting in things, right? You don't have to use it dafke as a tanur because it's a brand new tanur vekiraim. Avol ein sochin oison shemen. That means that the bederech klal, they would come and when it was new, they would come and shmin it oil, and then toshin means they would come and rub it with the shmatet to come it should be sparkling, it should be like nice. You shouldn't do it in Yom Tov because this is a tikkun kli. Vein mefigin oisom betzoinen. That means you don't take out the heat after you come and you put after they would come and do the first hesek, the first fire inside, they would come and straight away pour it cold water. Why? Because that gives it the chasmon, right? The thing. To come to make them again hard by the tzoinen. Why he wants to come to put over there the tzoinen bishvil lefois. That means he wants to cook over there bread, and he's scared that it's too hot. And if it's too hot, it's gonna burn his bread. So then areizem mutar. That's going to be mutar. Tonu Rabbanon. Moilgin es harosh v'saraglaim. That means of a behemoth that was shechted in Yom Tov. That means what means moilgin? Moilgin means to remove the hair, to remove the feathers, the small feathers. By how do you do it? The meliga. Meliga is by you putting over there boiling hot water after the melicha, and that removes the hair. So that's allowed to come to do in Yom Tov. Before the melicha, it's also, as we know, even in the weekdays also, yes, as we know. That means to come and to burn it, the feathers, to remove the hair, because it's melachos seichel nefesh, it's mutar. You cannot come and smear on it like a shaving cream, basically, to remove the thing. This is chalsis, adomos, all kinds of things that there was cream that made of chalsis, and that would come and remove the hair. Because it looks like when he's doing it with the scissors, to take off the feathers with the scissors, it looks like he's doing it with the seol, the noitz is what he needs. That means that means means it's talking about the yerek that already dashed. It's tolush. If it's a yerek that's mechuber la'adomo, it's definitely going to be also. It's mamish yerek coming and picking on Yom Tov or on Shabbos, definitely going to be also. But it's talking about the Yom Tov, sorry. But it's talking about over here, you have over there a yerek, a vegetable, that has on it leaves. Some of the leaves are not so nice anymore. They're going off. So you cannot come and do it with tispoil shaloi. What means tispoil shaloi? Tispoil shaloi means the same kli, like you have like what you pick from the mechuber. Yeah, it's called like a special plier. It's called, I don't remember what it's called. Like a cutter, yeah. But this cutter is made to come and to pick the yerek, yeah, let's say whatever it is, when it's mechuber lakarka. So the same kli that you come and you're cutting it when it's mechuber lakarka, do not come and cut the leaves that you're getting rid of, because it looks like keilu you picked it today from the karka. Avol metaknines akundes v'sa'akovios. These are all kinds of vegetables. Even there's a tirche to come to do with you're doing a tikkun over in the yerokos. Umesikin ve'oivin be pune. Pune means a very big, a large oven that the b'derech had on top. It had over there the petach, the opening. This had on the side the opening. And what's the chidush of it? Because it's a very large oven, and you need a hesek godol. That means you might come and think, no, this is also because it's a hesek godol. So there's a tirche meruba. So maybe I shouldn't do it on Yom Tov. So there's no chashash that he's going to do a tirche meruba. And another thing Rashi adds that also, and the Shavua actually brings it down, that also there's no chashash that maybe they're going to say, oh, he's now baking in a very large oven. Probably he's doing it l'tzorech choil. He's baking not only l'tzorech yod and l'tzorech choil. But as again, the Shavua brings that this is only that he needs actually a lot of bread. let's say Nizdamnu lo oilchin, or he does not have a small tunnel, only that's the case is allowed. And the same thing continue the price. It says, chamin be'antiche. Antiche is, we learn, remember from the Gemara in Kiro and Chavez, that this is a big pot. Yeah, like a tunnel gadol. So the same thing, antiche is a pot, a big pot. That means you cannot come and cook in a new, big, large oven. Why? Because by doing over there a very big fire inside, could be that what? It's gonna crack, it's gonna break because it's a new one. You don't know how strong is it, and then is that what? It was Teireach, Sheloi Letzorech. Tanu Rabbanon. Ein noivchim b'mapuach, aval noivchim b'shvoi peres. That means the person has a fire on Yom Tov, and he wants over there mapuach. That means a mapuach is a special, like a blower, to come to blow it and make the charcoal burning a little bit better. It's also looks like a meleches umen. It's something. It's more, with the metalsmith they use it, so it looks like something is a meleches umen. I don't know if you should because that is not a meleches umen. Ve'im is a shpud. That means this is the deal we learned already, that the shpud is a spit and it broke. So you want to fix it on yonter. It's also ve'im echadin oisoi, come to make it sharper. Tanu Rabbanon. In mefatzin is a kone. Kone is like what you take a kone is to come into a kone. Yeah, it's called like krum yeshel kone we always speak about. So he wants to come into cut it because what they would do is they would lead those by malia. They would take the fish and put underneath the fish when they're roasting it. They didn't want the fish shouldn't get a strong heat, so they put underneath this. They would put the kone. They would come to cut the kone into two. That's called krum yeshel kone. And they would come and put it underneath the fish. And the fish shouldn't get, right? They put it on the grill. Now the grill is very, very, very hot. So meat you can come and cook on directly on the askel or on the grill. But fish is more, more fine. So you don't want it a strong heat. So you put underneath the krum yoshel kone, and anything what you come and using, it's a tikkun kli. So you don't do it. That means you can come and break the knots, right? It means he's taking over there a shmate, and now he's breaking with his teeth. He's breaking the knots. That he doesn't want to feel with his teeth, right? To break his teeth, so he puts it into the shmate and then he breaks it. What might happen? This shmate might come in tear from the sholachs, from the peels of the egos, right? Of the nuts. It's no chashash. And what's a chashash? Because it's not called koireya minas litfor, and only koireya minas litfor yechayev, but this is not called koireya minas litfor. It's going to be muter. That's it. It's going to be muter. Yeah. If you look at Rashi if you look at Rashi, the Maschil, vein chosh shemoti korah, da afilu nikras lo yichpas lon, da ein ze koireya.
Why do you get it doesn't want it to happen? Why do you need to come to Elanas Litfor?
Or why not? So if you look at the beginning on the daf, look to your right. I don't know which Gemara you have, but in this Gemara, it's on the right. The beginning of Shas. He means koshali on this words of Rashi. Like koshali. Let's see the Rav Kiva inside. Look Rav Kiva koshali. Beginning of Shas. Koshali. Haloi mikol mokoim osu midarabon. Va'amai lo yikos of Rashi kipshuta do yikem elo kirapshi. V'det dovo sheim iskam emutar. Utsikrei shelo yave do. So yeah, every time we know, right? It's only also with the Rabbanon. And even Koireya Shalom is not fit for him. So why didn't Rashi say Kipshuto? Because he's not miskaven. And we know that the din is like Rab Shimon, right? And it's not a psikresha because the din Rab Shimon ain't miskaven is mutter. You can tell psikresha. It says it's not a psikresha because it's not vada it's going to tear. Maybe it's going to come and tear the matlis, the nuts, right? The peels of the nuts, but it's not vada. Okay, so I ran for the Mishnah. So okay. Zog the Mishnah weiter. Zog the Mishnah. Ve'oid. That means, what's the void? This is a hemshech of the previous Mishnah. The previous Mishnah, we learned a kule of Rab Lezer. Right? Kule of Rab Lezer. And Muktzes, we learned over there, Rab Lezer comes and says, there's Rab Lezer in Noitelot on Kisam Mishalefonov, right? Rab Lezer was matir over there, din of Muktzes. Says the Gemara, Ve'oid Omar Rab Lezer, another kule in Dinei Muktzeh. Now Rashi over here fragt a very interesting shaila. If you look at Rashi, on the words Ve'oid, Rashi fragt a shaila, Ve'oid Omar Rab Lezer. Look Rashi. Mishum de Tane, Achas le kule gabe Muktzeh. Ve'od Omar Achrise Omar Ve'oid. Because Rab Lezer, in the previous Mishnah, taught us kule and Muktzeh, le gabe taking a kiss on Mishalefonov. He says Ve'oid. Pikasheli begavot, fragt Rashi Yechom HaShaila. והפסקו רבונו במיל הטורם, ואם בו יציינסו, ואנחנו בעדי, והיינו מילצה אחיסא דלאו מילצה, ואמרי, לא יסו לבירו, ואם גם רב דבן בו, ודו יסו רב לזר דסוקה, ושאני לא יפסוק אלא במילצה, ואם לא יסו למאור, לא יהב אלה לשירי האוכל. ואומר, אני שגירס עשה משנה שלא יקרה סיידר. פה זה פשט. So Rashi over here fragt from a Sugi and Eruvin. Sugi and Eruvin, Daf Chov Gimel or Medalef is mashma, that you don't say ve'oid if there's a hefsek between the things, with a andere Indian. Okay, also if there's mashma over there, the Gemara in Eruvin Daf Chov Gimel or Medalef. Fragt Rashi over here, there's a hefsek. In the beginning of the Mishnah, you're right, Rab Lezer says, no yitelodom kiso mishalefonom, but noch them, the Mishnah brings lots of different dinim. Ein moitzine sa'ur, so we do have over there different dinim. And that's why Rashi says, and that means that the din of Rab Lezer, and our Mishnah has to be actually straight away in the previous Mishnah after the other din of Rab Lezer, and later on Chacham came and said the rest of the din. As I Dr. Rashi explained over here, the Seder HaMishnah. So let's see weiter. What's the other kule of Rab Lezer? Ve'oid Omar Rab Lezer. What means Omed Olam Muktzeh? So Rashi, Hatzorich Hazmone ve'Hazmone Moyeles Tekekoin Ichze ve'Lo Ichze Doma Bein Tzovim. So if we taking Rashi, Rashi doesn't really tell us much over here. Just Rashi tells like we said in Ein Tzovim. What's an Ein Tzovim? So let's take what we learned in Ein Tzovim. Let's mamish go what Rashi tells us, literally what Rashi says, and let's actually check what we said in Ein Tzovim. So what we learned in Daf Chov Vav Amud Beis, we learned over there Zoy. A person can over there, Oimed Odom ala Muktzeh means, what means Muktzeh over there? Groi grois v'tzimukim. Right? Groi grois v'tzimukim. That they are oimdin leyabesh. Right? That means I have over there, as we said, raisins. I want to do raisins. I take the grape. Now, the grape in the beginning is all when it's a raisin, when it dries out, it's also roy lachile. The problem is, Yovshu ve'lo yovshu kol tzorkon. Remember the sugi in Chavav. So that means it dried out, but not enough. So then it's not roy lachil, right? It dried out, but not. Now, the Gemara says over there that it's yovshu ve'lo yovshu kol tzorkon. Says the Gemara there is people, right, that they eat it k'moishein. There's people that don't eat it k'moishein. So that depends on his hazmana. If this person was masbin and erev Shabbos, so it was megale that he wants to eat from it, it's mutar. And if not, it's not. So that's what he says. So let's see it again. It means that the person understands that these are these goyim with tzimukim, what we learned earlier in Daf Chavav base, that if it was meyabish, and it's not exactly, it's not called tzorkon, so it depends on his hazmona. Depends on his hazmona. So oimed olam muktzeh erev Shabbos b'shvis. What means b'shvis? Shmita. Shvis means shmita. What's the chidush of shmita? The chidush of shmita is that you don't need to give ma'isa. You don't have to give ma'isa on shmita, right? Because we learned out in the Sifri, we learned out over there in Mechilta, we learned out. Steht over there legabe shmita. It says, steht over there in shmita. It says over there, ve'ochlu evyoyne amecha ve'yisrom toichal chayes hasodeh. Ma chayo ichele sheloi b'meusor odom oichel, right? That's what Rashi brings. Rashi brings it down in the Gemara. Later, I'm reading it out from Rashi, but it's Rashi in the Gemara. Anyway, so we learn over here that in Shmita you don't have to give Maisa. So a person stands up there Erev Shabbos Shvis, Voimer, and he says, that means he's saying this in order to do the Hazmon, as we said, right? It's talking about over here, like Meyubash Veloi Meyubash called Tzorkoi, right? As we learned in the Gemara in Chavav. So he's coming and doing over there Hazmon. What the Hazmon is doing? Voimer. Mikan ani oichel lemochol. Mikan ani oichel lemochol. What's the reason? The reason is because it helps us out sort zimun. What's the zimun over here? even though he's not actually coming and saying, I want to be Mazmin, takes, let's say in his hand, 5 raisins that are not yet raisins in Janssen, and he says, this I want to eat. No, we don't say. He says, he has over here thousands of raisins, hundreds of raisins. He's not going to eat all of them. He's going to eat only 5. It doesn't matter. We said, Mikan ani yochel mochel. Why? Because we say, yesh breira. And we say, he's that these groigos, what he's going to come and take tomorrow, these raisins, what he's going to come and take tomorrow, this once he was mezamen. We're going over here, Lepidam Adoma, that yesh breira. So he's a Rashi, and that's what's talking about over here. Rashi says, Wadin also lepeois meusorim, and the rest of the week, but it's just ucha the milze. That Rashi says, he says ucha the milze nokat, but it's the same thing in the Bibi Shashnei Shavua. Ucha the milze nokat the stam mukze la meusor the goyos tzmuk and stam mukze ve'ein regil le'asar koydem gmar melocha. That's what we came and said. Talking about Shviz, but it's going to be the rest of the week also, the rest of the Shnei Shavua. That means the rest of the years. Let's see the Mishnah Beitza. No, this is not called the Zimun. Ad she'ir shoim ve'yoimar mikan ve'ad kan. That means he has to come, take a few raisins in his hand, right? Keilu he wrote down. Keilu it's a reshima. Yeah, Keilu he wrote down. I'm taking from this and this. This is what I can take. Why? Because Chacham Altma ve'e ein breire. The machloikas over here is we're going to see. Yesh breire or ein breire. As Rashi says, "V'oimer mikana yinoid lemochol." The sage beod the yesh breire. That's the Peter Tanekame. Chachomim say at she'ir shoim. Why? They said the ein breire. So the machloikas over here basically is yesh breire ein breire. Okay. Now, before we start the Gemara, I would like to go to a small Hakdome, a very important Hakdome for tomorrow, because we're going to see the Gemara tomorrow. But just the Hakdome for the Gemara, let's start today. So there's a few halachas, what we have to know. Let's go a little bit into Trumas and Maisas. So we know a pri that is not yet a Gemar Melocha, as we learned many times, especially in Masechet Beitza we learned it. That a pri that's not yet a Gemar Melocha, for example, if we take Tvua that's not yet, what the Gemara says over there, Tvua? Miruach, right? The Gemara says Miruach. So if it's not yet a Miruach Bekri, that means it didn't smoothen it. Or if we said the figs, right, that are Oimdim leyabesh is not tevel. You're allowed to eat from it. Again, you're allowed to eat only achilas aray. That means peiro is that not adayin lo nigmar melachton. You're allowed to eat without meiser, or only achilas aray. Achilas kva, that's awesome. Achilas kva is awesome. But you're allowed to eat from it achilas aray till when? Ad sheiru espenei habayis, or chotzer. Riyas penei habayis, this is awesome. That's the din. That's the din. Now, once they came in through the Pesach, the main gate, right? Not the Gagazekal people. That's called Riyas Pnei Habayis. Once they go into the Bayis and Chotzer, they become Keva, they become Isur Tevel, Mina Toire, you're not allowed to eat, Afilu Achilas Aray. Once it becomes Tevel, Afilu Achilas Aray is going to be awesome. And what's the inyan of Gemar Melocha? So just B'derech Agav, the inyan of Gemar Melocha is, so the Brisker Rov explains in Ilchus Meiser, and the Rambam explains a very big chiddush in the Rambam, that the inyan of Gemar Melocha is that, or Kvius Meiser, what's the inyan like? Riyas Pnei Habayis is Kovea LeMeiser. What's the pshat? He says Riyas Pnei Habayis and Kvius Meiser, zwei dinim. Gemar Melocha is mechayev the peiros and the mitzvah of Meiser, but they don't have a Shem Tevel, right? Because the mitzvah tul is going to be koiveya this Tevel. Reyas Pnei Habayis, that was koiveya the peiros in the Shem Tevel, what's also be'achila. There's two different things. There's Reyas Pnei Habayis and there's Hukva, and it fits very good. It's a big chiddush because look over there in Ilchos Meiser, Moron Riza Levi al Rambam. And Ilchos Meiser. Okay, but we're not going to go so much into it. Just let's finish with our Hagdome for tomorrow. So, chutz from Reyas Pnei Habayis, what's koiveya, the peiros, and the Isur Tevel, Min HaTorah, there is another 6 things that are koiveya peiros to Tevel, Miderabonon. 6 things. One of the 6 things what koiveya Tevel Miderabonon is Shabbos. Because Achilas Shabbos is called the Achilas Kva. It's considered is achilas kvar. Why? We learned out from the pasuk. State in the pasuk, v'koroso lashavos oineg lichvoid Hashem, right? And as we can see in the Gemara, we learned out from the pasuk. So even though he only thought about the peiros, to come to bring them, to prepare them for Shabbos, he just thought these peiros I'm going to prepare for Shabbos. The nikva lemaiser, that means the chiyuv meiser, they are the Shem Teva. We're going to see in the Emshech of the Sugya that also Afrosh Astrume from the peiros is also legabe the rest of any of the Afrosh, the same thing. Teva legabe salting it, or if he done it, and many things, right? If he put in salt, and he salted it, is also a kviyas thing. If he done with it the business, is also a kviyas. Yeah, there's 6 things, but one of them is Shabbos. Oy bazoi. Afilu the peiros did not have this reiyas pnei habayis. They didn't see pnei habayis. Just he came and set it aside. He put it on the side leachila Shabbos, or he was mafish trume, or it was mafish trume. Trume, it's also kviyas meiser. Or he salted them, is also, or he done with them business, it's also, any one of the 6 things. So it's also be'achile till it's going to be mafish trume some meisers. Okay, that's it. Now, this all akdoma is because we're going to come up here very, very interesting. And we have alten kop in this sugya, what we're going to see tomorrow. But our sugya is talking about if Shabbos helps to be koiveya iso achilas meiser.
Okay. Now,
1 minute. Our sugya is done over here. If Shabbos helps to be koiveya to aser achilas aray, afilu before the gmar meloche. That means that's only once you have the gmar meloche, so then Shabbos is koiveya meiser, even if you didn't have the riyas pnei habayis. Gmar meloche, Shabbos is koiveya in the meiser without gmar meloche and without riyas pnei habayis. What are the rest of the things? As we said, there's another 5 things. So the Emshech of the Gemara, we're going to speak about this. Mitzvah Hashem, we're going to see it tomorrow. There's something to look forward. Fine. I go to Shekoyach.
Can I ask?
Always. After the show, always.
The basic thing. Can I check the basic thing? The chiv for Trumas and Meises is it's got to have both the Gemar Melocha and Re'iyas Pnei Habayis. Have I understood that correctly? You need both of them.
Yes, if you bring it in with the chap inter Pnei Habayis, it's also not going to be chayv d'oraisa. You have to have both. Re'iyas Pnei Habayis and Gmar Melocha. Yeah.
Can I ask something about Rabbi Akiva and Rashi about the egos? Bapeh, the Kriya.
Yeah, the Gir Shas. Yeah.
Gir Shas. Maybe the difference will be, and that's what Rashi says that, because the practical thing, somebody takes a piece of material with the egos inside, put it between his teeth. Yeah. Now, it starts biting it, and it starts, and he feels that it starts being nikra. Yeah. So according to Rabbi Akiva, he has to stop straight away because he knows it's not. He knows it's happening. According to Rashi, he can continue.
Very practical. Say, okay.
Practical thing. You hate it. Oh, you feel. Oh, it started to. What do you do? So according to Rabbi Akiva, he has to stop. Rashi says no. You're allowed to eat it. And even if you know that it's nikra and it's nikra as you go along, because it's
It'll be the same thing.
More is mashma from Rashi, but Rashi is mashma. Rashi with time is mashma. You can just carry on,
even if he feels that it's going to take, because it's not.
That's why in the practice, that's what Rashi says. The lemaise, Gemara should have said if Rabbi Akiva says, but if he feels it's nikra, he has to stop. Most much can just carry on.
Yeah, that's it. Well, because if you have a psikration, okay, it's more than a psikration. Your mom feels it. Okay.
Can I just ask a very quick question? A very quick question, just on the general principle. We're learning here the Reira that they say that Yesh Breira, Vei Breira. I thought we learned somewhere.
We're going to get to it. The Yesh Breira, Nei Breira.
No, just a quick question. I thought we learned somewhere that mid the Araisa, there is no such thing as Breira. You can't do.
That's what we pass. We pass in Lemaisa. We pass with the Araisa. we are machmir, and with the rabbanon we are makel al yesh breira. Yeah.
That's why they're saying that they're yesh breira.
Yeah, but it's not to start the sugya azoi. We don't think we pass on azoi. The ma'aseh minem ton as the reise the rabbanon.
Right. Okay.
Also, I found a big cool in Gemara when Gemara says that you're allowed to be always accumulate bits of wood for sreifa in the garden, because people see that you are going to use it for fire. So if somebody accumulates like 8 o'clock in the morning and he puts a fire 5 o'clock in the afternoon, not necessarily will be the same people. The people seeing that he does both. If he takes it straight into the fire, is einzach. But Gemara doesn't make any difference. So I find it's a kula. It's a big kula in the Gemara, because they love dafka that people who sees that see the other one.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because it's possible, it's a kula. It's the Rabbanon doesn't make it, but the Maisa, it's not a people who pick. If he does, as I said, 8 o'clock in the morning and he does it in the afternoon, people not necessarily will see both.
There's actually,
yeah.
There's actually no. I was just thinking. There's a Motche, the Motche in Chulin, and Kisei Adam. He says that they asked if a person could come and do Mila and Shabbos, a person that didn't do a Mila ever. There's a chashash, maybe he's in Mekalkel, and he's in Mechal Shabbos or not. So he says for sure, a person that never managed not come and do a Bris Milah on Shabbos. Why? He says, Kedamrin in Masechet Beitza, Gabegdeo Chadosho, Mipnei Shetzorch Lepotkoi. So a person shouldn't do it. That means he learns from our sugya that anything new, the chashash, maybe he's not going to succeed to do it, and it's going to be a meloche, it's going to be awesome.
So,
the same thing in Mila and Shabbos. Someone who didn't mal ever in Shabbos, maybe he's not going to come and do Mila. And it's both the Ledin. Shchonoch Simen Shin Lamed Aleph. See if you bring this lalo.
It's a chiddush because you can make a chiluk. Here, the Raf is not biyotcho. You don't know what to be, but somebody who trained, well, he feels confident he can do it. It's not,
so I can say, avoid enough kamina. Just it's going to take 3 minutes. Just 3 minutes. So if you go back to the Gemara, what we see over here, the Gemara comes and says, I'm just going to go back in Amud Aleph. The Gemara says, Tnanosam, the beginning of Amud Aleph. The Gemara says, I'm reading from inside. Tnanosam, Doso, Shitoko, Mekoisel, Ocher, Ritzaso, Beim, Mefakesa, the Shato Meistei, the Shato Kshelo. Yeah, it's talking about the Oif. And Omar Abloza Barabiana, Mishur Abloza Tignois, Sicho Dika. It's our Dika, Boy Mine Rabir Mime Rabzeire, Maule Shofto Beyontev, Mimasakin Reus Beyontev Oiloi, right? The Gemara brings away a suffix. Now, we learned that what? That treifes of Nefulo, that means what we just talking about over here, so treif meis days does not need a Dika. After meis days, it helps a Dika. The Gemara has a suffix. After meis days, you're allowed to check that maybe you're going to find out that this is, right? Maybe it's going to find out kosher, so you're allowed to check it, or because maybe the chashad it's going to find it a treifa, so you're not allowed to check it. So ledine, there's a machlokes rishonim. The ra'o and the ran, they are in the chumre because they say it's a sofik deiraisa the chumre, because there's a machshash. Maybe you're going to find it's a treifa. Kum toiser tut the meloche shelo letzorich en yontev. The Rambam and Ilchos Yontev Perik Beis Aloche Beis and the Rashbo, the Rosh. They all passed in lekule, and as I pass in the Shulchan and Simen Tov Tzadik Ches, Seivov, and the reason is because Sofek the Rabbanon lekule. Favos he doesn't Sofek the Rabbanon. The Rashba says, Favos, why we are making over here? Could be it's a thing you're making, you're allowed to come to the chef. Why? He says Sofek the Rabbanon lekule. The Shaila is Favos Sofek the Rabbanon lekule.
Because God has kasha. If you live 24 hours,
one second. If you have that you're gonna find it a treife, come to see done meloche shelo yotzorich echel nefesh.
But that's every yontif. Every yontif you can say that you got cheskas kashles. Cheskas is not treife.
No, we have a reus over here.
Yeah, but the reus said after 24 hours. That's a shaila. The machlokes is after 24 hours is still the reus.
Oh, very good. Zog the shaga, very good. Zog the shaga science Simen Samach Dalet. Because the Ran tainet so yeah, the Ran, the Rao. We said they tainet it so he saw the Reise. There was a Zog the shaga science Simen Samach Dalet. He proves from this. It's a big chidush. What you said now, it's a big chidush. But he proves it. He proves it that what after Meis days you need to have a bdike. Yeah, you have to come to be boiling the 18 treifes. You test treifes is only a thing the rabbanon, and that's why it's not a suffix. It's not a suffix the right. It's a suffix the rabbanon.
Good.
But this could be only the Shitas Rashi. The Shitas Rashbo, for sure that the dim dikas doiraise. And Noiva Zoy, the Fida Rashbo, is not all schwer because the dikas are doiraise. What's the reason that he said it's a Sofik the Rabbanon? Maybe you can find it at Reife. So there's many Achoini, the Shos Yankiv, the Yom Tov and Simem Dale. They say that when the Torah was matir to do a Melacha L'Tzorech Oichel Nefesh, it's also in a case that there was Sofik Oichel Nefesh. And even you can be Mevarer, that there was not Lemaise, right? Oichel Nefesh, this was muter. Why? Because b'shaitoi there was a tzad that is going to be a tzor oichel nefesh, and that's called oichel nefesh. Because this is chelik for oichel nefesh. Anything that I need, and you're right. Even there's a chashash treife, but could be that it's not going to be a treife. So there is a tzad over here that I can eat it. There's a tzad of oichel nefesh. Das is oichel nefesh. Oh. So we see a big chiddush over here, and I can explain the svara. It's a very interesting svara. The achronim we see that the sofik oichel nefesh is muter. But mitzad sheni, we see that what? There's no matir of oichel nefesh. Let me just say, you're allowed to only because the din of mitoich. There's a prichodos, the primegodim is simit of tzadik chet. That means they out nazoi. From din oichel nefesh, you shouldn't be matir oichel nefesh only when it's a vada oichel nefesh. For sure, when I need it and I'm going to eat it, that's called oichel nefesh. And I have to be ober mitoich shehutal. Anything what has a tzorech oichel nefesh. So also even though that could be, that's not. We say anything with tzorech oichel nefesh is also called, and this is tzorech nefesh because I need to have the shchita. Maybe I'm not going to have what to eat. And that's why it's mashma, Rabbi Kiveger, and Gillian, and Shulchan and Siman Shin Lamed Aleph. Kumto is just there's three shittas in the din of sofek oichel nefesh. The feed is shagasarye, it's also midei raise sofek oichel nefesh. The feed the other achonish was yankev and yontev is allowed, or because it's a oichel nefesh itself, or it's because the din of mitoich. Now, why we bring it down? I just brought it down because the nafkemine. What's going to be nafkemine? The Modche says, we said the Modche and Chulin, the Kisei Adam. The Modche said that the person shouldn't come and do the first mila, the bris mila. If it comes to do a bris mila, you shouldn't do it the first time on Shabbos. Why? Because maybe he's not going to do a good mila. And the Choyre, this is other Rabbi, the Fide Rambam and the Rosh, that they pass that you're allowed to shech the beim and the fulo. Even that you have to come and do a bdika after that, you're allowed to shech it. So what's the difference in mila? Why mila is also? So the Fide Shagasarya, that the Eter in our suga is because the dim bdika is only the Rabbanon the Fide, very good. Over there, the Isur to come and do bris mila is a doiraisa. The same thing, the Fide sheet of the Shus Yankev, the Inik Yontev, the Eter to shech the beim and the fulo is because anything what you do, b'shvil oichel nefesh, you have a heter of oichel nefesh. So also over there, right? Even in the end, you're going to find it a treife. So also over here, very good. That's only a meleches oichel nefesh. But mile, lefi the tzad, that this person is not going to do a good bris mile. Kum toisa tuta meloche on Shabbos. And lefi the sheet of the brichodos, the primegodim, that you're matir because the din of mitoich, right? As we said, Rabbi Kiveger, lefi them, you have to say that anything what the modche asset to come to do the bris mile first time is dafken Shabbos. Or in Yom Tov, you're going to allow to come to do the mile we call mitoich. That's why it's not come Kiveger. It comes a big nafkemine. And a big nafkemine. Can you, this din of the Modche, what the Modche comes and says, it's an interesting din of the Modche. The Modche comes and brings a raya from unsere Suge. The Modche comes and brings a raya from unsere Suge. The person should not, the Modche is in Tofrei Shnun Zayin, in Chulin, Kisei Adam. So the Modche says a person should not come and do a bris milah. The first time he's doing a bris milah, he shouldn't do it on Shabbos because maybe he will not come and shech good. He will not come and do good bris milah, and he would come and be over meloche. Depends on the reasons over here of the shagasarye, oineg yontev, and the primegodim and prichodosh. The choyot kumtois if it's going to allow to do it on yontev.
So can we just
the shagasarye is going to be also the shusyank is also going to be also the Megadim is going to be mutter to do it on Yom Tov. Ve'ayan, Rabbi Kiveger, and Gillian on Shulchan Aruch, Siman Shin Lamed Aleph Seif Aleph.
Can we just check the case here? We were talking about the Moel who's doing a bris on the 8th day for somebody for his first time. That the Moel himself is doing it the first time, and it has to be
yes,
and it is the 8th day, obviously. Otherwise, it can't be doing on Shabbos, right?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. Fine. And the same shaila, if someone never shechted, can he shecht for the first time on Yom Tov or not?
The problem is,
he never shechted. He's coming now the first time to shecht. You're allowed to shecht on Yom Tov. Can he shecht or not?
Yes.
is like Mile, that's going to be also. So
Probably not.
Lefi the Shagasai, is going to be also. Lefi the Shagasai, or Lefi what Rabbi Yitzchak said before, and that the whole Eter in our suga is because it's a Derabonon. The Din B'dika is only a Derabonon. So now, if you're not going to shecht good, he's going to be over in the middle of the Reises, so maybe it's going to be also. But Lefi Rabbi Kiva Eger, saying that we say Mitoich, right? It's going to be mutter. Now, Lefi the Shvus is also going to be mutter because it's a tzad of Echel Nefesh. It's going to be mutter. It's a lot of nafkaminas, but we can play around with this nafkaminas over here. What we said, a very interesting, as we said over here, what's going to be the din by the how we paskin it. Yeah, if we paskin legabi sofik nefulo, a person had the oif, and he shecht the oif was a nefulo. Yes, it's a chashash of reife, and he waited many days that you need a bdika later on. How we paskin? The feed the Ram we paskin the chorwe, the feed the Rambam the Rosh. The Rashba, we pass the Lekule because something the Rabban Lekule. Why is it something the Rabbanon? So the Shagasai says because the Dik is the Rabbanon. But if you have something that's a Doiraise, for example, Shchite, so if a person comes to Shech the first time on Yom Tov, it's going to be enough Kamina, Lefi the Shagasai, Lefi the Makveger, Lefi the Pricha. Yeah. Okay, Ve'advorim Aruchim. The Seder Gomor. There's also over here about Megis, there's a big Suga, the what's Megis, the Chazonish, the thing. Okay. The Kolboy, the big Chiddush of the Kolboy about Megis. Okay. That's Hashem, maybe next time. Fine, the Seder Gomor. I go to Shekoyach.